Hi there and welcome. Today what we're going to work on is just changing the oil in my GMC Sonoma pickup truck. So I'll try to take you through this process really step by step, even focusing on some really basic elements of changing your oil. And I know it'll be too basic for most of you out there that are interested in doing this, but at the same time, if someone's just interested in doing it for themselves and hasn't ever done it before, you might find it helpful. So let me flip the camera around here. So the first step, and you'll have to excuse the wind, it's good kite flying weather here, is we want to just pop the hood, but before we do that, you also want to make sure your emergency brake is on, and in a Sonoma, that's a pedal brake right down there. So we'll go ahead and pop the hood. And let's take a look at where we're going to be working here. The hood latch comes up from here and clicks into the roof right up top there. And some of my other cars, it's a little bit different. We've got 3 cars actually. And let me get a close-up then on the drain cap here. It's way in the back in this, and you'll see it says engine oil, and it says SAE 5W30. We'll be talking about that in just a second. The other thing that says engine oil on it, not really in focus, but that little yellow finger pull here, and that's the dipstick. So I figured I'd talk for just a second about what oil weights are and what they mean, and why you would put one weight motor oil versus another. As you recall from the drain cap, or the oil cap, that it was a SAE 5W30, and you can see this bottle in front of me of GTX high mileage, and you can see down there that I've chosen an SAE 10W30 to put in my truck. And if I look at the owner's manual, what it says there is that, if I get a little closer here, maybe it'll focus. This bigger bar with 2 arrows says SAE 5W30 preferred, and then there's a little dashed line here right at 0 Fahrenheit from your thermometer that says 10W30 and has an arrow going up. Well, this truck doesn't really operate at temperatures anywhere near 0 degrees Fahrenheit. It doesn't really get that cold here, and it's a vehicle I really only use in the middle of the day, and here in California where I live, the middle of the day the temperatures are easily within the range of that arrow on the right there. So I actually chose a 10W30, and if I recall, when I bought this oil, the 5W30 in this particular brand was only available in 1-quart bottles, and I like the 5-quart bottles. Really, I could have used either one. They'll both operate just fine for this truck. Just some little points of curiosity. SAE actually stands for the Society for Automotive Engineering, and they developed a system of measuring oil viscosity that is sort of a lot simpler to use and makes a lot more sense when it comes to oil viscosity than some of the more traditional ways you might measure viscosity. And the number, so the higher the number, basically the thicker the oil, or the more viscous the oil, and the slower it moves through your engine. The lower the number, the lighter the oil, and the easier it will flow through your system. And if you can see here, I just brought out a bottle of that I use in my riding lawnmower, and that just uses a 30 weight oil. But most automotives these days use some form of some number W dash some other number. And what that means is that at colder temperatures, the oil is designed to be a lighter weight and less viscous oil, so that at colder temperature it moves through your engine, and that lets you start up your engine more easily when it's cold outside. The higher weight then is how it operates, how it performs at the operating temperature of your engine. So when it's cold out, a 10W30 will behave as if it's a 10 weight oil, and when it's warm outside, it'll behave, or when your engine is running, it'll behave like a 30 weight oil. Obviously, that works out very well. They do that by adding these things called pour point depressants, and it's an additive that they add to the petroleum to make it behave that way. Those do break down, which is why you do need to change your oil regularly, and the oil can sludge. And synthetics actually behave that way naturally without the additives, which is why you can run on a synthetic oil for longer. Actually, a quick point about synthetics as well. This is not a synthetic oil. I think it does say somewhere on here, I think at the bottom there, part synthetic motor oil. Well, not all synthetics are created equally. There's synthetics fall into grade 3 and grade 4 oils. And grade 3 products are basically a petroleum-based product that they've just taken the sulfur out of. And that's actually what you'll find. Most motor oils that are labeled synthetic will actually be that type of synthetic. And it does perform better than the traditional petroleum products, but it is really not a true synthetic. The true synthetics, I think the only one that's actually on the market is it's the Mobile Extra Life 1, I believe it's called, and that's actually a grade 4, and that is a true synthetic. Just a little point of curiosity there. So anyway, I bought this 5-quart GTX high mileage with that Fram oil filter over there, and it cost me, I did go the high mileage. My truck is not that high mileage, but it is an older model. It's over 10 years old. It's a 2001. And I wanted the extra benefit of that part synthetic blend, even though, like I said, it's really not a true synthetic, but it is a little higher quality oil than the basic petroleum. I do change the oil fairly regularly in my vehicles, so I don't worry too much about putting synthetics in. Even a traditional motor oil will last easily 3,000, even up to 5,000 miles. Synthetics will certainly last a little bit longer than that, but for me, I enjoy doing it, and the added cost of the synthetics just isn't really worth it in my opinion, but they're very good products, and certainly if you want to change your oil less frequently, that is the way to go. It's probably also, it breaks down a little bit less, so towards the end of that few thousand miles, you do see better performance out of the synthetics when it is coming time for an oil change. Anyway, I bought this package for a little over $20. I think it was $23 or so. Usually, right around the $21 mark, you can get a non-synthetic 5-quart jug of motor oil and an oil filter, and that's, rough, depending on where you live, roughly half the cost of going to a Jiffy Lube, and so I do like to change the oil in my cars. Then you get to be outside on a nice sunny day.